Hi, my name is Caitlin, and today I will be unboxing the first part of this book, The Cosmic Race by Jose Vasconcelos, which covers pages 1 to 40. Jose Vasconcelos was a Mexican writer who was born in 1882, and he was known as one of the most influential writers in the development of modern Mexico. I didn't really have any expectations when I was first looking through this book, other than hoping to learn more about different racial ideologies. In this book, Vasconcelos wanted to destroy the idea of European superiority. He came up with the idea of a fifth race, the cosmic race, in order to demolish the ideas of racial superiority. The thesis of this book is that the various races of the earth tend to intermix at a gradually increasing pace and will eventually give rise to a new human type made up of selections from each of the races that already exist. Many people opposed this theory, which included biologists who believed that evolution was the opposite of Darwinism. The idea that America is a melting pot of European races comes up quite often in this book. Vasconcelos writes about how religion can impact communities, and he uses the example of Christianity affecting American Indians and helping them advance and progress to a higher level of civilization. He starts off the first chapter, called Mestizaje, by saying that Greece laid the foundations of Western or European civilization with the four racial groups: Black, Indian, Mongol, and white. The whites dominated, but their purpose was to serve as a bridge. Over time, civilization developed because the whites set the foundation for a fifth universal race mentioned earlier as the cosmic race, which was a combination of all of the other ones. Vasconcelos paints the idea of an ideal world since he hated an organized and disciplined one that he said contained rules, norms, tyranny from which it is necessary to escape, which is a quote from page 29. Emancipation also comes up as a big factor in this chapter, because it allowed the different races to be able to branch off, expand, and spread globally. I thought that it was interesting to see what different races and cultures can do once they have the freedom to express themselves. Vasconcelos also proposes a law of personal taste as the basis of all human relationships under the name of the law of the three social stages, which include the material, also known as the warlike, the intellectual or the political, and finally the spiritual or the aesthetic. These three stages represent a process that is slowly freeing people from societal norms. Racial groups are also predicted to either fight each other or join forces and use violence and power to dominate. It became clear to me that the groups that Vasconcelos mentions will do whatever is necessary to survive and thrive in their environment. Ultimately, Vasconcelos believes that the mixing of races will lead to the formation of an infinitely superior race. He also states that we have the duty to formulate the basis of a new civilization, and for that very reason, it is necessary that we keep in mind the fact that civilizations cannot be repeated, neither in form nor in content, which is a quote from page 34. From this idea, I gathered the concept that as human beings, it is our civil duty to create our own futures. Overall, Vasconcelos' hatred of white people is apparent throughout this whole book. He talks about how we will accept the superior ideals of the whites, but not their arrogance, and that when they have fallen, they will come to us for help in this conquest of freedom. I also thought that certain ideas felt a bit controversial and idealistic at times. While Vasconcelos did not support negative eugenics or social Darwinism, he did advocate for a eugenics of aesthetics. This can be seen on page 31, where he writes, "A mixture of races accomplished according to the laws of social well-being, sympathy, and beauty will lead to the creation of a type infinitely superior to all that have previously existed." On page 31. The eugenics of aesthetics was seen as a survival of the beautiful, whereas Darwin's theory was the survival of the fittest, which is kind of the opposite. This viewpoint represents the idea that Vasconcelos thought of some races better than others, especially with the usage of words like superior and inferior, and I definitely thought that it was interesting to learn about his theory, but it did raise some questions as to where he got all of this information from. Though this book is a little hard to read at times and a little bit lengthy, it allowed me to expand my knowledge and learn more about Mexican communities and identities, and I did enjoy reading some of his examples and some of his stories to learn more about his culture and Mexican communities and culture in general. Thank you.